Hello and a very warm welcome to Game On. We may have had a day off in cricket with everybody getting a break before the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup, but the Euros are in full swing. There's a lot of action last night. We have all the big results for you. So this is a power-packed show. Let's first begin with the two semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. We're going to set those up for you. We begin with the men in blue who've not put a foot wrong in this tournament so far and find themselves against defending champions England, who've not had a smooth ride on their way to the semis. But India will know better than to take their opponents lightly after what they have experienced in the ODI World Cup final against Australia last year. So then, it will come down to the team that not only absorbs pressure better, but who wins the big moments on the day. India go into the T20 World Cup semi-final against England as the team with a better record in the tournament so far, with a psychological edge for being the number one team from the Super 8 Group A. England, on the other hand, reached the semi-final stage as the number 2 team in Group B. Also, it can be seen as advantage India, for they've been unbeaten in the ongoing World Cup so far. In the run-up to the semi-final, India entered the Super 8 stage as the number 1 team from Group A, winning 3 of their 4 matches, while the game against Minnows Canada was abandoned without a ball being bowled. In the 4-team Super 8 matchup, Rohit Sharma and company first beat Afghanistan by 47 runs. They next defeated Bangladesh by 50 runs before backing off the mighty Australians with a 24-run win. England were ruthless against smaller teams but finished number 2 in the group stage with 2 wins, a loss to Australia and an abandoned game against Scotland. In the Super 8 stage, they began with an 8-wicket win over host West Indies, but fell short by 7 runs against South Africa before beating the World Cup debutants USA by 10 wickets. 3 of the 4 wins for the defending champions England so far have come against World Cup first-timers like Namibia, Oman and the USA. In the real test against South Africa and Australia, Jos Buttler's side fell apart. Also, in the Super 8 stage, England had the advantage of batting second in all 3 of their matches. India, on the other hand, have marched into the semi-finals, beating the likes of Australia and Pakistan. They've survived the test of an underprepared Nassau County Cricket Stadium in New York and prevailed while defending in all their Super 8 games. Given the present form and results, India go into the semi-final on Thursday as the overwhelming favourites. The men in blue appear far superior than the 3 Lions at the moment. However, India will be wary of their last T20 World Cup encounter against England. It was a similar situation in 2022 when the 2 teams played the semi-final in the last edition of the tournament. India had then entered the semi-finals as the Group 2 toppers from the Super 12 stage. England was second behind New Zealand in Group 1. At the Adelaide cricket ground on November 10, 2022, India had miserably failed to defend the 169-run target. England had stormed into the final, drubbing the Rohit Sharma side by 10 wickets. Jos Buttler and Alex Hales had slammed an unbeaten 80 and 86 runs respectively, overhauling the 170-run target with 4 overs to spare. Maybe Jasprit Bumrah was not in that Indian 11 and Arshdeep Singh had lacked experience then, but Virat Kohli's present form can be a worrying factor for India. Opening the innings with skipper Rohit Sharma, Kohli has managed just 66 runs in 6 innings. In the 2022 Australia edition, he was the most successful batter of the tournament with 296 runs from 6 outings at a Bradman-like 98.66 average and 136.40 strike rate. Meanwhile, weathermen have forecast 88% threat of rain and 18% chance of thunderstorm in Guyana on Thursday. There is no reserve day for the second semi-final, though the match time, if required, can be extended up to 250 minutes. So what happens if the match is not concluded? As per the tournament playing conditions, India will sail into the final for being the number 1 team from their Super 8 group. Now, moving on, one of these 2 teams will make it to their first ICC World Cup final ever. South Africa, who have experienced heartbreak in semi-finals for decades against Afghanistan, who've made it to the Final 4 for the very first time. The 2 meet in the first semi-final of the T20 World Cup in Trinidad tomorrow with a slice of history up for grabs. South Africa are one of 2 teams unbeaten in the tournament, having topped their first round group as well as the Super 8 pool
while Afghanistan have upended most predictions except for Brian Lara to make it to the Final Four with some inspirational performances. Rashid Khan's team eliminated New Zealand during the opening round and then shocked Australia to boost their chances of making the semi-final, followed by an 8-run win over Bangladesh to seal their passage to the knockouts. 2 of the 3 top run getters and 2 of the 3 top wicket takers of the tournament are Afghanistan players, with Rahmanullah Gurbaz topping the run charts with 281 at an average of 40, followed by his opening partner Ibrahim Zadran at the 3rd place with 229. Seam bowler Fazal Haq Farooqi is the World Cup's leading wicket taker with 16 victims at 9.31 apiece, and his skipper Rashid is 2 spots below with 14 at 12.21 each. Such a well-balanced bowling attack comprising of Farooqi, Naveenul Haq, Gulbadin Naib and 3 spinners in Rashid, Noor Ahmed and Mohammad Nabi have proved a handful for opposing teams, and Afghanistan will surely look to hit South Africa with spin in Trinidad. If there's a chink that South Africa will look to expose, it's the lack of runs from the rest of the order, because barring the openers Gurbaz and Zadran, who have 5 50s between them, no other batter managed a single 50. South Africa's road to their first T20 World Cup semi-final in a decade has not been smooth. Even though they won all their matches, the margins have not all been that dominant. While they began their campaign in New York by bowling out Sri Lanka for 77 and then chasing with 6 wickets remaining, South Africa struggled to win their next few games. They beat Netherlands by 4 wickets, chasing 104, beat Bangladesh by 4 runs, defending a total of 113, and then narrowly defeated Nepal by 1 run when defending 115. In the second round, South Africa beat USA by 18 runs, England by 7 runs and West Indies by 3 wickets. Afghanistan and Jonathan Trott will surely have taken notice of all of this and will plan to attack South Africa with speed at a venue where 150 has not yet been scored in this World Cup. A cracker of a contest awaits, which puts 2 teams with batting jitters but terrifically balanced bowling attacks against each other. On to Euro 2024, and France drew 1-1 with Poland to finish second in Group D with 5 points behind surprise table toppers Austria, booking their spot in the last 16. France manager Didier Deschamps wants his team to sharpen up in front of the goal, and the Le Bleu will want to start afresh in the knockout rounds. France had 19 shots in the game but could not find a way past Poland keeper Lukas Korupski, who was named the man of the match from open play. France took the lead against an already eliminated Poland when Mbappe fired home from the penalty spot before Poland replied with a penalty of their own, which was dispatched by their captain and record goal scorer Robert Lewandowski. It was Mbappe's first European Championship goal as he made his return to the France side wearing a face mask after breaking his nose in their opener against Austria. Deschamps' side began their campaign with a 1-0 victory over Austria that came courtesy of an own goal before they drew a blank in a goalless draw with the Netherlands and finished with a draw on Tuesday.
We know we'll play on July 1st. We still don't know the opponent. It's a new competition that starts now. Obviously, if we score more goals, we have more chance of winning the match. We had a lot of opportunities once again. 5 in the first half alone. It's not just about a lack of precision. The goalkeeper made good saves too. But obviously, the more you score, the better chance you have of winning the match.
It was another dull display by tournament favourites England, who held Slovenia to a goalless draw to move into the last 16 of Euro 2024. England was slow, short on creativity and looked nothing like the team that could go on to win the Euros. For the second time in a row, they were booed after the game was done, with supporters making their feelings clear for the Three Lions. England was in control of the game but only had 4 shots on goal from 12 attempts. The closest it came to scoring in the first half was when Bukayo Saka scored on a cross, but it was called offside. Conor Gallagher failed to make an impression after his inclusion. He was replaced at halftime with Kobbie Mainoo who did a much better job in the midfield. It was a good night in other respects for England, with results elsewhere, meaning the dangerous quartet of France, Spain, Germany and Portugal. They have dropped into the other side of the draw. England finished at the top of Group C with the Danes and Slovenia level on 3 points. But Denmark finished second due to a better disciplinary record after they could not be split on goal difference or goal scored or yellow cards. We'll get you those details later on in the show. But fans in London were left dejected by England's draw against Slovenia, while the final whistle sparked joy in the Slovenian ranks, who moved to the knockout round for the first time. Many England fans left before the end of the game when they were watching it on big screens around Germany and at home. And they showed their frustration by booing the players. This was at the stadium. England had already qualified for the round of 16, like I said, despite another flat performance. But there you can see them booing the team. The draw saw them take first place in the group on 5 points.
I've watched all of our games so far. They're all the same. None of them are exciting. I don't know. I'll get more enjoyment watching other teams. Like, I don't want it to be that way. That's all I can say.
I don't think we deserve to go through with that, to be honest. But we'll see. Things could change. If he makes changes, we could do better. We cannot do that again, that's for sure.
We are never going to win anything playing like that. We've got no chance whatsoever. And Southgate should resign as soon as possible. Because the team that we have, we should not be playing like that.
Back in January, Ivory Coast sacked the manager mid-tournament and went on to win AFCON. If they're serious about doing anything, they'll do the same. Come on, England!
And things are only going to get more difficult for England players in terms of trying to manage the expectations of the fans back home. A handful of England fans let manager Gareth Southgate know how they felt after an underwhelming draw, with Slovenia hurling empty beer cups in his direction. This is what happened during, in fact, right after the game. Southgate, whose team scored 2 goals in 3 games, said he will bear the brunt of the criticism, but made a plea for the fans to support his players. While England arrived as favourites, they've left fans frustrated with 3 tepid performances, falling short on their aim to make a statement with a decisive win on Tuesday. That would have set them up for the knockout rounds with momentum. Underwhelming England sealed top spot in Group C, but hardly issued a statement of intent ahead of the knockout rounds, especially in the way they toiled against a much lower ranked Slovenian side, who celebrated wildly with their fans at home and at the stadium when the full-time whistle was blown, with the draw seeing them progress to the knockout stages of the tournament.
Are you aware also that 3 beer glasses were thrown in your direction, and that it seemed that there was also some angry reaction? And can I get your reaction to that?
Yeah, I understand it. I'm not going to back away from it. The most important thing here is that the supporters stay with the team. I understand the sort of narrative towards me, and you know, that's better for the team than it being towards them, but it is creating an unusual environment to operate in. I've not seen any other team qualify and receive similar, so I understand it. I'm not going to back away from it, but I'm very, very proud of the players for how they're operating within it. We weren't able to find the right pass, the final finish, but we're improving, and I didn't think that with how everything happened after the last game, we were suddenly going to be free and liberated and stick 4 or 5 goals in. Football doesn't work that way. You have to recover from those nights and make steady progress at times. But I saw progress. I saw players have a positive impact in the attacking areas, and you know, I think the goals will come. We'll get there.
Austria's aggressive and hard-running approach propelled them into the last 16 of the European Championships, as well as a thrilling 3-2 victory over the Netherlands saw them not only progress but also snatch first place in Group D. The Dutch also advanced as one of the 4 best third-placed finishers despite giving away an early own goal, putting on a pedestrian first-half performance and losing to a sucker punch as Marcel Sabitzer struck for Austria 10 minutes from time. With France held to a 1-1 draw by Poland in the group's other game in Dortmund, Austria now top the table with 6 points, one ahead of second-place France on 5 and the Dutch with 4 points. And Denmark secured a place in the knockout phase with a nervy 0-0 draw in Munich against Serbia, who head home after coming bottom of Group C and will next face 3-time European champions Germany. The Danes, knowing they only needed a draw to move into the next phase, had more chances with Christian Eriksen pulling the strings from the midfield, but were unable to turn that into a goal in their third draw of the tournament. Denmark finished second in the group with Slovenia third, but both sides go through. The two teams finished level on points, goal difference, goals scored, but the Danes had a better disciplinary record. Both nations also received the same number of yellow cards, but the UEFA have now confirmed that Denmark finished second because of a booking given to Slovenian assistant coach Novakovic Milivoje. Serbia defended stoutly for long periods but could not provide opportunities for veteran striker Alexander Mitrovic, who appealed unsuccessfully for a penalty several times. They came fourth in the group with 2 points from 2 draws. Both teams had goals disallowed, Denmark for a corner that went out of play and Serbia for offside.
We are very sad, but in every sadness have a little bit luck. We have luck to see München and beautiful city of Germany, so we will continue our journey to the next cities.
Well, it was boring, but I think it was a masterpiece of defense from Denmark. They had 0 chances. We were the best, but hey, we're gonna play against Germany next week, so that's amazing, and we're gonna beat them.
Well, the game was very violent. Serbia should have won. It was very close between Denmark and Serbia, but Serbia gave its best, and hopefully we will win the Euros one day. Živela Srbija!
On to Copa America, and Argentina became the first side to book a spot in the Copa America quarterfinals after a late strike from Lautaro Martinez earned them a 1-0 Group A victory over Chile on Tuesday. The defending champions had to wait until the 88th minute for the winner. There were enough openings for the 15 times Copa America champions to get the breakthrough much earlier, but a combination of poor finishing and an inspired performance from Chile's 41-year-old goalkeeper Claudio Bravo left the score deadlocked. Captain Messi, who played a role in both of Argentina's goals in their opening win over Canada, was once again at his brilliant best and nearly opened the scoring in the 36th minute with a powerful low drive that hit the post. The decisive moment, though, came when Chile failed to clear an in-swinging corner from Messi, and Lautaro Martinez pounced to grab the winner. The goal stood after a lengthy VAR review for offside. With this win, now Argentina topped the group with 6 points after 2 matches, with Canada in the second on third, following their 1-0 win over Peru earlier on Tuesday. Chile and Peru have 1 point each. The loss extended Chile's winless streak against Argentina in the Copa America to 30 matches. Chile have now won Copa twice, but they've never beaten Argentina in regulation time at the tournament, getting the better of them in penalties in the final of the 2015 and the 2016 editions. Okay, we're going to wrap this show up, but before that, U.S. swimming star Michael Phelps, he's told a congressional panel on Tuesday that anti-doping measures have fallen short in a case involving Chinese swimmers ahead of this summer's Paris Olympics.
US swimming star Michael Phelps told the congressional panel on Tuesday that anti-doping measures concerning Chinese swimmers have fallen short ahead of the Paris Olympics. Phelps was joined by fellow gold medalist Alison Schmidt, as well as the CEO of the US anti-doping agency, Travis Tygart. They all testified to lawmakers they've lost faith in the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, over its lack of reform. Congresswoman Kathy Rogers asked Phelps what stands in the way of competitions being free and fair of illegal drugs.
I think lack of playing or lack of level playing fields, lack of rule following across the board, right? You know, I mean, you heard the schedule that we have to give every hour of every single day. They have to know exactly where we are. USADA knows exactly where we are. And again, we are okay with that. If everybody else is doing that, then that's what I want, right? I want to be able to stand up to the block with somebody next to me and be like, all right, cool, this is me versus you. It's not me versus you and 7 other drugs.
While neither will compete in Paris, Phelps, with 28 medals to his name, is the most decorated Olympian of all time, and Schmidt won 10 medals over 4 games. In April, WADA confirmed reports that Chinese swimmers tested positive for a banned substance, leading to calls for accountability and fair competition. WADA declined to testify at the Tuesday hearing, citing the focus on the Chinese swimmers' case. Travis Tygart said WADA should have taken immediate action.
They should have immediately, provisionally suspended the athletes, take them off the playing field. That's mandatory under the rules. That was not done. WADA has the appeal right when anti-doping organizations like China in this case fail to impose a mandatory provisional suspension. WADA should have immediately appealed that, like they did in the Russian figure skater case, if you remember. Exactly. She was not provisionally suspended by Russia, surprise, and they appealed that.
Lawmakers of both parties slammed WADA's handling of the situation, calling it unacceptable. Phelps highlighted the impact on his friends affected by the case, saying that many of them will live with the what-ifs for the rest of their lives, and criticised WADA for its inconsistent enforcement of policies around the world.
The confidence is certainly back in the market.
Do tighten your seat belt so that you can withstand volatility.
I have one humble request to all the viewers of News 9 is that please don't go